Not one more inch. That's the line the Pentagon drew as Chinese warships pressed into contested lanes, and the sea went quiet. Why? Because the strike came from beyond the horizon, where US LRASM rides a sensor web you can't see, and hits you before you can turn. In this breakdown, we decode the 20-minute window that flipped advantage, satellite heat tracks, drone eyes over Spratlys, and a simulated LRASM engagement 200 miles off the Philippine coast that forced Beijing to blink. How does extended-range deterrence work when the first shot is never seen? Stay, because the answer changes naval math. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Your scope is clean. No spikes. No fades. And yet the sea goes quiet. That silence isn't peace, it's a network firing before it ever shows its hand. The chain starts high.
Violating China's terror airspace. Leave now. Leave immediately. This is Chinese naval warship 552.
The second line of defense has already formed back here. I mean, if China decides they're not getting through, they're not getting through. This is all the Philippines' legal exclusive economic zone.
Satellites log heat blooms from engine rooms and spot tiny course changes along the Spratlys lanes. Below, drones orbit at lazy racetrack patterns, counting wakes, flagging throttle shifts, passing tracks without lighting up the ether. A P-8 or Allied ISR team ties it together and cues a strike package that never needs to shout. The shooters ride LRASM, and the sensors tell them where to look while staying dark. Meanwhile, China pushes Type 055s toward the Paracels, YJ-18s armed, radars disciplined. They see ships. They sense presence. But intent stays opaque. On the other side, the Allied net reads wake angles and thermal spikes and moves shooters into place without a single public ping. LRASM is built for these conditions. Low radar cross-section reduces return. Passive RF seekers sniff emissions without giving any. Imaging infrared sorts ships by heat shape. Preloaded threat libraries let the missile decide what makes sense at the merge. It cuts its own exposure, riding under the noise floor until the last seconds. Beyond visual range is the rule. Off-board target data comes from space and air. Secure data links push mid-course updates. The missile schemes the sea, then bends through deceptive waypoints so defenders can't plot a clean shot. Think of it like driving at night with your headlights off, guided by road signs your cars alone can read. The other driver sees the road, too late to brake. At roughly 200 miles off the Philippine coast, the clock matters. 20 minutes from launch to impact compresses command cycles, shrinks the OODA loop, and steals human reaction time you thought you had. Then the map widens. BrahMos sites on Luzon stretch a shore-based arc. US HIMARS and Typhoon rotations add land fire into sea lanes, forcing new routes near Scarborough and the Spratlys.
So it's like a busy military highway in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I would say, up until a couple years ago, this would have been much, much quieter. So we do a lot of ship tracking. We try to keep up with where China is deploying. In particular, China is deploying its maritime militia in China.
That records and publicizes Chinese ship movements in the disputed areas. Sealight has charted a massive build-up since the summer of 2023.
How do hits land from 200 miles without being seen? They don't search with radar, they listen, they red heat, and the web feeds them targets while staying black. Beijing calls provocation. The Pentagon calls deterrence. Manila's move is next, and it redraws corridors. A fleet backs off when a shore battery turns a strait into a trap. Manila just put one on the map, and every commander in range felt the walls move. On November 7, 2025, during the Marine Corps' 75th anniversary, the Philippines fielded its first BrahMos unit. Launchers based in Zambales and Ilocos Norte stretch steel out towards Scarborough Shoal, projecting a hard edge across the lanes. That reach forces every track to recalc its route, speed, and escort plan. Meanwhile, planned surface groups test channels near the contested shoals. U.S. radar teams sketch corridor geometry, marking choke angles and turn radii. Allied ISR clocks exposure windows down to minutes. A simulated LRASM run shrinks the response cycle, and Type 055 destroyers answer by arming YJ-18s to show they're ready to shoot. BrahMos brings speed around Mach 2.1, a sea-skimming terminal dash, a warhead near 660 pounds, and an envelope around 180 miles. It's built to punish a late turn, a slow throttle, or a commander who waits one beat too long. The coalition stacks more pieces. U.S. Typhoon and HIMARS rotate through the archipelago. Shared links fuse cues from satellites, patrol aircraft, and ground radars, creating a land-sea crossfire that erases predictable transit routes. No single sensor wins this. The grid does. So why the arming order on those 055s? Their captains must assume hits from 3 axes at once, air-launched LRASM from standoff, shore-launched BrahMos from the north and west, and decoys to drain fire control logic. That means heavier defensive loads, stricter EMCAN, and tighter formations that trade maneuver for mutual cover. ISR adds the telltales. Heat tracks from orbit show throttle changes and small course corrections. Drones above the Spratlys note wakes thinning as ships slow to stay under their own umbrella. Slower makes you safer for a moment. It also stretches your time inside the kill zones. This is deterrence by time pressure. Each minute adds the risk of a multivector swarm that outruns intercept windows and pulls magazines down fast. The 055s armed up because the demo proved the first wave comes invisible and fast, and the second can come from land. Fleet size still matters, the edge now goes to who sees first, fuses faster, and strikes from angles you can't paint. 20 minutes decides it. Not hull count. Not parade shots. The edge shifts to who fuses sensors and fires silent, long-range shots that make the other side pause. You saw it across these lanes, off-board cues, dark missiles, compressed command time. That's the new math. What would you do on the bridge when the first strike is invisible? Push in or back off? Comment your choice below, and subscribe if you want more hard, technical breakdowns. The next crisis won't reward who shows up first. It will reward who links the grid, holds fire until the window opens, and pulls the trigger without being seen.